The message came on a Tuesday afternoon. Overlord sat on his throne made of black crystal. The throne room of the Empire was huge. Tall pillars reached up into darkness. Blue lights glowed along the walls. Hundreds of servants stood in perfect lines, their heads bowed low. Was old by standards. His gray skin had deep lines. His 4 eyes glowed with a cold yellow light. He had ruled the Empire for 300 years. Under his command, 17 star systems had fallen. Billions of beings called him master. Today, he would add another world to his empire. "Send the message," he said. His voice was deep and rough like stones grinding together. General stepped forward. He was tall and strong with scales that shone like metal. "It is done, Overlord. The transmission will reach their planet within the hour." Smiled, it was not a pleasant smile. "Good. Let the humans learn their place in the galaxy." The Empire had watched Earth for many years. They had seen the humans leave their small planet and spread to nearby moons. They had built stations around Mars and Jupiter. They had ships that could travel between stars. But to the humans were still primitive, young, weak. Easy prey. The message was simple: surrender or die, bow to the Empire or be destroyed. Every species in the galaxy knew this choice. Most chose wisely. Those who did not became dust and memory. On Earth, the message arrived during a football match. The game was between two famous teams. Millions of people watched on their screens. The stadium was full. People cheered and shouted. Food vendors walked between the seats. Children waved flags. Then every screen went dark. A face appeared, gray skin, 4 yellow eyes, a mouth full of sharp teeth. "People of Earth," the voice said. The translation was rough but clear. "I am Overlord of the Empire. We rule 17 star systems. We command 800 warships. We have destroyed civilizations older than your species." The stadium went quiet. People looked at each other with confusion. "You will surrender your planet to us. You will accept rule. Your people will serve the Empire. Your resources will belong to us. You have one cycle of your sun to respond." The face paused. The yellow eyes seemed to stare at everyone at once. "If you refuse, we will come. We will burn your cities. We will break your ships. We will teach you the price of defiance. This is not a request. This is your only warning." The screen went black. For a moment, there was silence in the stadium. Then someone in the back row started laughing. It spread like a wave, first one person, then 10, then 100. Soon the whole stadium was laughing. People wiped tears from their eyes. They slapped their knees. They held their stomachs. "Did you see his face?" someone shouted. "He looked like my mother-in-law," another person yelled. The laughter grew louder. Across Earth, the reaction was the same. People watched the message again and again. They made jokes. They created funny pictures. They wrote songs. Within an hour, the face of Overlord was everywhere, usually with silly words written beneath it. No one seemed afraid. In orbit around Neptune, Admiral Han received the message on the bridge of the TSS Horizon. He was a man of 50 years with gray hair cut short and calm, dark eyes. He had served in the Terran fleet for 30 years. He had seen many things. This was new. He watched the message twice. Then he turned to his officers. "Well," he said slowly, "that was interesting." Captain stood beside him. She was younger, with sharp eyes and quick hands. She was the best tactical officer in the fleet. "Sir, should we go to battle stations?" Han thought about it. "No, not yet." He looked at the message again. "Lieutenant, is the coffee machine working?" Lieutenant looked up from his console. He was a thin man with a dry smile. He handled the weapon systems. "Yes, sir. Fixed it this morning." "Good. I would like a cup, please." Stared at him. "Sir, we just received a threat of invasion." "Yes, I noticed." Han sat down in his command chair. "But I think better with coffee, and I suspect this will require some thinking." Commander entered the bridge. She was in charge of communications. She had a warm face and a voice that could calm any situation. "Admiral, Earth Command is calling. They want to discuss the response." "Put them through." The screen lit up with faces. The Terran Council was in session, 12 people from 12 nations. They looked more confused than worried. "Admiral Han," said the council leader, an older woman with white hair, "have you analyzed the threat?" "We are working on it, Counselor. Our long-range sensors have detected a fleet at the edge of the system, approximately 800 ships." 800, another council member leaned forward. "That seems like a lot." "It is a large number, yes." "Can we defeat them?" Han took a sip of his coffee. It was hot and bitter, just how he liked it. "That depends on what you mean by defeat. Can we destroy their fleet? Yes, probably. Will it be easy? No. Will it be interesting? Almost certainly." The council members looked at each other. "You seem very calm, Admiral." "I have learned that panic helps no one. Besides, I have seen their ships. They use plasma weapons, energy shields, standard technology." He shrugged. "Nothing special." Commander raised her hand. "Admiral, the aliens are waiting for our response. What should we tell them?" The council leader spoke. "We should send a diplomatic message, show that we are civilized." "I agree," said Han. "Please send the following message to the flagship." He thought for a moment, then he smiled. "We respectfully decline your offer of conquest. We enjoy being free and plan to continue. Please do not leave trash in our solar system on your way home. Thank you for your interest in Earth." "Type the message. Sending now, sir." "Add a picture," said Lieutenant. "Something nice, maybe a sunset." "A sunset. Humans like sunsets. Maybe they will too." Added an image of a sunset over the ocean, golden light on blue water. Then she sent the message. Far away in his throne room, Overlord received the reply. He read it 3 times. He did not understand. "What does this mean?" he asked General. "They decline. They tell us not to leave trash." Shook his head. "I do not know, Overlord. Perhaps it is a code." Ambassador Lyra stepped forward. She was different from the warriors, smaller, quieter, with eyes that watched everything. Her job was to study other species. "It is not a code, General. It is sarcasm." "Sarcasm?" "A form of humor. They are making fun of us." His 4 eyes widened. "They dare to mock the Empire." "It appears so, Overlord." Stood up, his robes flowed around him like dark water. His hands shook with anger. "Then they have chosen death. General, prepare the fleet. We will show these humans the price of laughter." Bowed low. "It will be done, Overlord. We will crush them." Ambassador Lyra said nothing, but deep in her mind, a small voice whispered a warning. A species that laughed at death was not a species to underestimate. She kept this thought to herself. On Earth, the football match resumed. The fans returned to their seats. The players took the field. Life went on. In the sky above, Admiral Han finished his coffee and began to plan. The Empire was coming, and humanity, for the first time in its history, would face an enemy from the stars. They were not afraid. They were curious. The Armada came out of hyperspace like a swarm of angry insects. 800 warships appeared in a flash of blue light at the edge of the Sol system. They were massive things, built for war. Their hulls were black and covered with weapons. Their engines glowed red like burning coals. Each ship carried thousands of soldiers ready to fight and die for the Empire. General stood on the bridge of the flagship Dominion. He was proud. This was the largest fleet ever sent against a single planet. No species had survived such force before. "Reports," he commanded. "All ships have arrived safely, General. We are holding formation at the outer boundary of the system." Nodded. Through the massive window he could see the distant sun. Somewhere near that yellow star was Earth. His target, his prize. Scan for enemy vessels. The officer at the scanner console worked quickly. Then he stopped. He looked confused. General, I am detecting one ship. One ship. Yes, General. A small patrol vessel. It is holding position near the large ringed planet. Laughed, it was a harsh sound. One ship, they send one ship to face us. It appears so, General. Foolish creatures. They do not even understand how outmatched they are. On the small patrol vessel, Ensign Wu was having a quiet day. He was 23 years old, fresh from the academy. This was his first assignment. Patrol duty in the outer system was supposed to be boring. Nothing ever happened out here. He was eating instant noodles when the alarm went off. Wu nearly choked. He dropped his chopsticks and ran to the scanner console. The screen was filled with red dots, so many red dots. What the? He whispered. He counted quickly. Then he counted again. 800 ships. 800 enemy ships had just appeared in his patrol zone. His heart was beating fast. His hands were shaking. He was alone, one small ship against an armada. Then he stopped. He took a deep breath. He remembered what his instructor had told him at the academy. When you face the impossible, remember who you are. You are human. We do not break. Wu sat down. He picked up his chopsticks. He took another bite of his noodles. Then he opened a communication channel. Command, this is Patrol 7. We have visitors. Looks like about 800 ships, maybe more. I lost count after a while. He paused. Should I offer them snacks? There was silence on the other end. Then a voice responded. Patrol 7, this is Command. Please repeat. 800 ships, Command. They look angry, very pointy, lots of guns. Wu slurped his noodles. What do you want me to do? More silence. Then, hold your position, Patrol 7. The fleet is on its way. Copy that, holding position, finishing lunch. Wu closed the channel. He looked out his window at the massive armada in the distance. Then he shrugged and went back to his noodles. They were getting cold. On the Dominion, General received a report. General, the enemy vessel has detected us. Good, are they fleeing? No, General, they are holding position. Frowned, do they not understand the threat? I do not know, General, but our signal intercept team has captured a transmission. The pilot appears to be eating. Eating? Yes, General, some kind of noodle dish. Stared at the officer. For a long moment he said nothing, then he turned away. Humans are strange creatures, no matter, soon they will learn fear. Ambassador Lyra watched from the observation deck. She had been studying the intercepted transmission. The pilot's voice had been calm, casual, almost bored. This troubled her. Species facing destruction did not act this way. They panicked, they pleaded, they fled. This human had joked about snacks. She made a note in her file. Human response to overwhelming force appears abnormal. Further study required. Admiral Han received the alert on the TSS horizon. He read the message from Ensign Wu and smiled. That boy has good spirit, he said. Captain stood beside him. Sir, the enemy fleet is larger than expected. We have 42 ships ready to deploy. 42 against 800. Han nodded slowly. Not ideal odds. Should we call for more reinforcements? Send the request, but do not wait for them. We move now. The 7th Fleet assembled quickly. 42 Terran warships formed a line between the enemy and Earth. They were smaller than the vessels, less decorated, but there was something about them that spoke of purpose, of precision. Commander opened a channel to the flagship. Attention vessels, this is Commander of the Terran Fleet. You are entering protected space. Please state your intentions. On the Dominion, General received the message. He laughed again. They ask our intentions. We bring 800 warships and they ask what we want. He grabbed the communicator. Human vessel, I am General of the Empire. Our intentions are clear. You will surrender or you will burn. There is no other choice. His voice came back, still pleasant. I understand, General. However, I notice you have not filed a visitor's permit. This is required for all foreign vessels entering the Sol system. A what? A visitor's permit. Form 27B, you can download it from our network. There is a small fee, but we accept most currencies. Turned to his officers. Is she serious? No one answered. We are the Empire. We do not file forms. Continued cheerfully. I understand your concern, General. The bureaucracy can be frustrating. Would you like to speak to a supervisor? Through the communicator across the bridge. It shattered against the wall. Ambassador Lyra watched everything. She was beginning to understand something important. The humans were not stupid. They were not naive. They were playing a game. The question was, what game? Admiral Han listened to the exchange with quiet amusement. You are terrible, said Captain. Thank you, Captain, I try. Enough games, said Han. Let us see what they do. The fleet began to move. 800 ships advanced toward the thin Terran line. Their weapons powered up. Their shields activated. They were ready for battle. General gave the order. All ships prepare to attack. Show these humans the power of the Empire. The armada surged forward. On the Terran ships, alarms sounded. Officers rushed to their stations. Weapons were loaded. Shields were raised. But there was no panic. Lieutenant checked his weapon systems one last time. Ready, Admiral. Missiles loaded. Targeting systems online. Good. Hold fire until my command. Yes, sir. Captain studied the enemy formation. They are coming in a standard attack pattern. No creativity. They expect us to break and run. Let them expect, said Han. We are not going anywhere. The two fleets approached each other. They were confident. They had done this many times before. Smaller species always broke when they saw the full power of the armada. The humans did not break. They held their line. They watched the approaching enemy with calm eyes. Some made jokes. Others played music in their quarters. One ship reportedly had a betting pool on how long the battle would last. Ensign Wu had finished his noodles. He had joined the fleet formation, his small patrol ship tucked between two destroyers. He was scared, yes, but he was also excited. This was history. On the Dominion, General watched the human fleet with growing frustration. Why do they not flee? He demanded. I do not know, General. They are holding formation. They are 42 ships against 800. They cannot win. Ambassador Lyra spoke quietly. Perhaps, General, they do not measure victory as we do. Turned to face her. What does that mean? I am not certain yet, but I suggest caution. These humans are not behaving normally. Caution, spat the word. We are the Empire. We do not need caution. We need only strength. He turned back to the window. All ships attack. The space between the fleets lit up with fire. The battle for Earth had begun. And across the solar system, billions of humans watched their screens with popcorn and drinks. They were not worried. They were entertained. The first wave of plasma fire was beautiful in a terrible way. Thousands of bolts of green energy streaked across the blackness of space. They left trails of light behind them like falling stars. The gunners had trained for this moment their whole lives. Every shot was aimed with care. Every weapon fired together. The attack should have destroyed the Terran fleet in seconds. It did not. The green bolt struck the human shields. There was a flash of light. The shields flickered like candles in wind. Then they stabilized. On the TSS horizon, Lieutenant looked at his console. He raised an eyebrow. That tickles, he said. Admiral Han watched the damage report scroll across his screen. Minor shield drain. No hull damage. All systems working. Interesting, he said. Their weapons are weaker than expected. Captain nodded. Our shields are designed to stop kinetic impacts. Plasma energy disperses across the surface. It barely registers. A useful design choice. Thank you, sir. I will pass your compliments to the engineers. The fleet fired again and again. Green light filled the void. The human ships rocked slightly under the assault, but they did not break. They did not burn. On the Dominion, General could not believe his eyes. "Why are they not destroyed?" he shouted. "That was enough firepower to melt a moon." His weapons officer stammered. "General, their shields are absorbing our attacks. The energy is being spread across the surface. Our weapons are not penetrating." "Then fire more, fire everything." The Armada unleashed its full power, 800 ships firing at once. The light was so bright that sensors had to adjust. For a moment, the human fleet disappeared behind a wall of green fire. Then the fire stopped. The human ships were still there. Admiral Han brushed some dust off his uniform. A ceiling panel had rattled loose during the bombardment. Otherwise, his ship was fine. "I think they are done," he said. "Our turn." Captain smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "With pleasure, sir." "Lieutenant, you may fire." Had been waiting for this moment. His fingers moved across the console with practiced ease. Targeting, locking on lead vessels. He paused, firing. The human weapons were different from the weapons. They used plasma, energy, fire. It was impressive to watch. It made beautiful light shows. The humans used metal. The fired tungsten projectiles at a fraction of light speed. There was no flash, no trail of light. The bullets were small, dense, and moving faster than anything had a right to move. They hit the first ship before anyone could blink. The effect was immediate. The projectile punched through the shield like it was not there. It punched through the hull. It punched through the reactor core on the other side. The ship exploded. Then the second ship exploded, then the third, then the fourth. 12 warships died in the first 3 seconds. On the Dominion, alarms screamed. Officers ran in all directions. Damage reports flooded every screen. "What is happening?" General roared. "General, we are under attack. The human weapons, they are projectile-based. Our shields cannot stop them." "Projectiles, they are using rocks." "Metal, General, very fast metal. It is going through our ships like they are made of paper." Watched another ship explode on his screen, then another. His mighty armada was dying. "Fall back, all ships fall back." The fleet tried to retreat, but the human ships were faster than they looked. They pressed forward, firing in steady rhythm. Each shot found its target. Each target died. Lieutenant was humming a song as he worked. He selected targets with care. He did not waste ammunition. Every projectile killed a ship. "That is 37, he announced. 38, 39. "You are keeping count?" asked. "It helps me focus." 40, 41. Captain shook her head, but she was smiling. Admiral Han watched the battle with calm eyes. The fleet was in chaos. Ships were trying to escape in all directions. Their formation had collapsed. Their confidence had shattered. "That is enough," he said. "Cease fire." Stopped, his finger hovered over the console. "Sir." "They are running, let them run." "But sir, we could destroy them all." "We could, but we will not." Han stood up. "This was a lesson. I think they have learned it." The Terran fleet stopped firing. The surviving ships fled toward Jupiter. They left behind a field of debris and wreckage. 163 ships destroyed. Thousands of soldiers dead. The human losses, 0. On the Dominion, General stood in shock. His hands were shaking. His proud armada had been broken in minutes, less than minutes. "How," he whispered, "how is this possible?" Ambassador Lyra was at her console studying data. Her face was pale. Her hands trembled as she worked. "General, I have been analyzing the human weapons." "What are they?" "Some secret technology. Ancient weapons from a dead race." No, General, they are projectiles, simple metal projectiles. Simple. The principle is old, very old. They use electromagnetic force to accelerate a piece of metal to extreme speed. The kinetic energy does the damage. Stared at her, they are throwing rocks at us and winning. Yes, General, very fast rocks. Sat down heavily. He had conquered 17 star systems. He had defeated species with technology far beyond his own. He had never lost a battle. Until today. Our shields are designed to stop energy weapons, Lyra continued. Plasma, lasers, particle beams, these are what civilized species use. No one uses projectile weapons anymore. They are primitive, inefficient. But effective, said bitterly. Extremely effective against our ships, yes. The surviving fleet gathered near Jupiter. 537 ships remained, more than half the original force, but the damage to morale was far worse than the damage to numbers. Soldiers whispered to each other. They had seen the impossible. Human ships, small and plain, had torn through the mighty armada like predators through prey. What kind of species were they fighting? Far away on the Overlord watched the battle report. His 4 eyes were wide. His mouth hung open. This cannot be real, he said. Show me again. His advisors played the recording again. The green plasma fire hitting human shields and doing nothing. The silent human weapons cutting through ships like wind through smoke. They lost no ships, said slowly. Not one ship. Correct, Overlord. And we lost 163. Yes, Overlord. Was silent for a long time. Then he spoke, his voice barely a whisper. What are these creatures? No one had an answer. On Earth, the battle footage played on every screen. People watched with excitement. They cheered when ships exploded. They clapped when the enemy fled. The footage of lieutenants saying, "That tickles," became instantly famous. People printed it on shirts. They made songs about it. Children played games pretending to be, counting their imaginary kills. The fear that the government had expected never came. The panic never happened. Instead, humans reacted with pride, with humor, with confidence. They had faced an alien empire. They had won, and they had made it look easy. Admiral Han returned to his quarters after the battle. He poured himself a drink. He sat by the window and watched the stars. Commander found him there an hour later. The council sends their congratulations, Admiral. That is kind of them. They want to know our next move. Han sipped his drink. The enemy is regrouping near Jupiter. They have lost many ships, but they still outnumber us by far. They will attack again. Should we pursue them? No, let them come to us. Let them think. Let them understand what they face. Sat down across from him. You showed mercy today. You stopped the attack when you could have destroyed them all. Yes. Why? Han was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke slowly. Because killing is easy. Any fool can destroy. The hard part is knowing when to stop. He looked at. We are not monsters, Commander. We are not conquerors. We are humans. We fight when we must. We stop when we can. And if they attack again? Han smiled. It was a tired smile, but there was steel behind it. Then we will fight again, and we will win again, as many times as it takes. Outside the window, the stars burned cold and eternal. Somewhere out there, an alien empire was learning a hard lesson. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was something far more dangerous. Humanity was awake. The fleet hid in the shadow of Jupiter. The giant planet hung above them, a swirling ball of storms and gas. Its moons drifted slowly in the darkness. The surviving ships had gathered here to repair, to rest, to understand what had happened. General had not slept in 2 days. He sat in his command chair, staring at nothing. The battle played over and over in his mind. The green fire that did nothing. The silent human weapons that killed without mercy. the sound of his officers screaming as ship after ship exploded. 163 ships, gone in minutes. General. He looked up. Ambassador Lyra stood before him. She looked tired too, but there was something in her eyes, something he had not seen before. Fear. What is it? Asked. I have been studying the humans. I have accessed their information networks, read their history, watched their recordings. She paused. I need to show you something. I do not want to see more recordings of our defeat. This is not about our defeat. This is about them, who they are, what they are. Waved his hand. Fine, show me. Lyra connected her device to the main screen. An image appeared. It was a planet, blue and green and white with clouds. This is Earth, she said. There it looks peaceful, yes. Yes. It is not peaceful. It has never been peaceful. She pressed a button. New images appeared. Strange machines rolling across muddy ground. Soldiers in gray uniforms carrying long weapons. Explosions, fire, bodies lying in fields. This is from their history. A conflict they call World War I. It happened approximately 110 years ago by their calendar. Studied the images. War between nations. Yes, it lasted 4 years. 17 million dead. 17 million. Yes, and this was not their worst war. She pressed another button. New images, cities burning, mushroom clouds rising into the sky, people with burned skin walking through ruins. World War II, 60 years after the first, 70 to 85 million dead. She let that number hang in the air. They dropped nuclear weapons on their own planet, on their own species. Felt cold. The Empire had conquered 17 star systems. Their total war dead over 300 years was perhaps 50 million. These humans had killed more than that in a single conflict. They are monsters, he whispered. Perhaps, but watch more. The images changed again. Soldiers charging into gunfire, ships sinking in flames, pilots flying burning aircraft into enemy vessels. In their wars, soldiers would attack positions they knew they could not survive. They would die by the thousands for pieces of land smaller than this ship. Lyra's voice was quiet. They do not fight like other species, General. Other species fight to survive. Humans fight to win. There is a difference. What difference? A species that fights to survive will run when the battle is lost. They will surrender to avoid death. She turned to face. Humans do not run. They do not surrender. When they are losing, they fight harder. When they are dying, they keep shooting. They would rather be destroyed than defeated. Was silent. There is a concept in their culture, Lyra continued. They call it going down fighting. It means choosing death over surrender. They consider it honorable, noble, something to be proud of. That is insanity. To us, yes, to them it is normal. She pressed another button. Watch this. A video played. A human in strange clothes was falling through the sky. Below him was an orange mountain with fire coming from the top. What is this? A human jumping from an aircraft into a volcano. For fun. Stared for fun. Yes, they call these activities extreme sports. They jump from cliffs. They dive into oceans with creatures that can kill them. They climb mountains that have no air at the top. They do these things not because they must, but because they enjoy the risk of death. The video ended, could not speak. Do you understand now, General? Lyra asked. We thought we were attacking a young, primitive species. We were wrong. We attacked a species that has been at war with itself, with its planet, with death itself since the beginning of its existence. War is not strange to them. It is normal. It is comfortable. She brought up one final image, a simple graph showing the growth of human military technology over time. The line went up sharply, again and again. Every time they face a threat, they adapt, they improve, they become stronger. Her voice dropped. General, we have made a terrible mistake. We did not attack prey. We kicked a sleeping predator. On the Overlord received Lyra's report. He read it in his private chamber. He watched the videos. He studied the numbers. When he was finished, he sat in darkness for a long time. Then he called for General on a secure channel. General, I have read the ambassador's report. Yes, Overlord. Is it accurate? I believe so, Overlord. The evidence is clear. Closed his 4 eyes. He had ruled for 300 years. He had made many decisions. He had never felt doubt like this. What do you recommend? He asked. Hesitated. Overlord, I have 500 ships remaining. The humans have less than 50. By numbers, we should win. But numbers mean nothing against these creatures. Their weapons cut through our ships. Their shields stop our fire. And even if we somehow won, even if we destroyed their fleet, what then? What do you mean? Their planet has 8 billion people. 8 billion humans who have spent their entire history fighting each other. If we invade, every city will resist. Every town, every home. They will fight us in the streets, in the buildings, in the forests. They will never stop. They will never surrender. His voice grew heavy. Overlord, I do not fear death. I am a soldier, but I fear this. I fear a war that cannot be won. I fear an enemy that refuses to be defeated. Was silent. What would you have me do? Asked. Before could answer, an alarm sounded on the Dominion. General, human ships approaching. Rushed to the bridge. On the screen he could see them. More human ships, many more, coming from the direction of Earth. How many? 120 ships, General, 3 additional fleets. They brought reinforcements. Yes, General, and there is a transmission. Braced himself, play it. Commander's voice filled the bridge, cheerful as always. Attention fleet. This is the Terran combined fleet. We hope you are well. We wanted to let you know that additional ships have arrived. We are now at full strength. There was a pause. Also, our mess hall is serving kimchi stew today. It is very good. If any of you would like to try some, you are welcome to join us for dinner. No weapons required. The transmission ended. General looked at his officers. They looked back at him with expressions of disbelief. They are inviting us to dinner, one officer said, after they destroyed a third of our fleet. Yes. What kind of species does that? Thought about everything he had learned. The wars, the nuclear bombs, the volcano jumpers, the soldiers who charged into certain death. A species that does not see us as a threat, he said quietly. They are not afraid of us. They never were. They are curious about us, interested, amused. He sat down in his chair. For the first time in his long career, General felt something he had never felt before. He felt small. What do we do now? His first officer asked. Looked at the screen. 120 human ships waited in the darkness, patient, confident, ready. We wait, he said, and we think, and we try to find a way out of this that does not end with all of us dead. On the TSS horizon, Admiral Han reviewed the fleet positions. The reinforcements had arrived just in time. The 3rd, 5th, and 12th fleets had joined the 7th. 162 ships total. Not enough to guarantee victory, but enough to make a statement. The enemy fleet is holding position, Captain reported. They are not attacking. Good, they are learning. Commander approached. Sir, should I send another message? Han smiled. No, let them think. Let them understand their position. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. And if they attack? Then we will respond, but I do not think they will, not yet. He looked out at the stars. They came here expecting an easy victory. They found something else. Now they must decide, do they keep fighting a war they cannot win, or do they find another way? You think they will choose peace? I think they will choose survival. They are not stupid, just proud. Pride can be set aside, extinction cannot. Outside, the 2 fleets faced each other across the void. The ships wounded and afraid, the human ships calm and waiting. Somewhere in between, the future of two civilizations hung in the balance. And on Earth, a child asked her mother what was happening in space. "Some aliens tried to scare us," the mother said. "It did not work." "What happens now?" The mother smiled and ruffled her daughter's hair. "Now we wait, and we see if they are smart enough to become friends instead of enemies. And if they are not smart." The mother's smile faded slightly. She thought of the videos she had seen, the firing, the enemy ships dying. "Then they learned the hard way," she said, "like everyone else." Overlord made his decision on the third day. He had not slept. He had not eaten. He had spent every hour reading reports, watching videos, and thinking about what Ambassador Lyra had shown him: the history of human warfare, the nuclear bombs, the soldiers who chose death over surrender. He thought about his empire: 17 star systems, billions of citizens, 300 years of conquest and glory. All of it could end here in this distant solar system against a species that jumped into volcanoes for fun. "Connect me to General," he ordered. The screen flickered, appeared looking exhausted. "Overlord." "General, I have made a decision. You will launch a final attack on the human fleet." Was silent for a moment, then he spoke carefully. "Overlord, with respect, our chances of victory are—" "I know our chances." His voice was cold. "But I am not sending you to win, General. I am sending you to die with honor." Blinked Overlord. "The Empire cannot retreat. If we flee from these humans, every species in the galaxy will see us as weak. Our empire will crumble. Our enemies will attack. Everything we have built will fall apart." "I understand, Overlord, but if we attack and lose—" "Then we lose, but we lose fighting. We lose with dignity." Leaned forward. "You said these humans respect those who fight to the end. Perhaps in death we can earn their respect. Perhaps they will speak of us as worthy enemies rather than cowards who ran." Straightened, he was a soldier. He understood this language. "Yes, Overlord, I will give the order." "Good. May the ancestors watch over you, General. Fight well, die well." The connection closed. General stood on the bridge of the Dominion. Around him, his officers waited in silence. They had heard the order. They knew what it meant. "All ships," said slowly, "prepare for final assault. We attack in 1 hour." No one protested. No one questioned. They were soldiers. They would do their duty. Ambassador Lyra stepped forward. "General, there may be another way." "There is no other way, Ambassador. The Overlord has spoken." "The Overlord is thinking like a— but we are not fighting, we are fighting humans." She held up her data device. "I have continued my research. I have learned something important about them." "What could you possibly have learned that would change anything?" "They value courage. Yes, they respect those who fight, but they also value something else, something unexpected." Waited. "Mercy," Lyra said. "They value mercy. When their enemies surrender honorably, they often accept. They take prisoners. They rebuild nations they have defeated. They turn enemies into allies." She stepped closer. "General, these humans do not want to exterminate us. They want us to stop. That is all. Stop fighting and they will let us live." "You cannot know that." "I know their history. I know their patterns." She placed her hand on his arm. "Let me try, General. Let me contact them. Let me see if there is a path that does not end in death for all of us." Looked at her. Then he looked at his crew, young soldiers, some barely adults, all of them ready to die because an old ruler was too proud to admit defeat. "1 hour," he said. "You have 1 hour." Lyra bowed and rushed to the communication station. On the TSS horizon, Commander received an unexpected message. "Admiral, the fleet is transmitting. It is not a general broadcast. It is directed specifically at us." "Put it through." Ambassador Lyra's face appeared on the screen. She looked nervous but determined. Human commanders, I am Ambassador Lyra of the Empire. I request a meeting, face to face, unarmed, to discuss an end to this conflict. Admiral Han studied the alien woman. Her eyes were large and dark. Her skin was gray-green, smooth like wet stone, but there was something familiar in her expression, something he had seen before in the faces of soldiers who had fought enough. "Why should we trust you?" he asked. "You should not trust me, but you should listen, because in less than 1 hour our fleet will attack, every ship, all at once. We will lose, we know this, but we will take many of you with us, many deaths, much destruction." She paused. "Or we can talk, and perhaps no one else needs to die today." Han was quiet for a long moment, then he turned to Captain. "What do you think?" "It could be a trap." "It could, but she seems honest." "Aliens can fake emotions." "So can humans." Han smiled slightly. "I think we should meet her." "Sir." "Prepare a shuttle, small crew. You will come with me as well. We will meet them on neutral ground." "What about weapons?" She said unarmed. "We will honor that." Frowned, "And if they attack us?" "Then Lieutenant will destroy their fleet, and we will become martyrs, not the worst outcome." He stood up. "But I do not think that will happen. This ambassador is scared, not of us, of what comes next. She wants a way out. Let us give her one." The shuttle launched from the horizon 30 minutes later. It carried Admiral Han, captain and commander. No guards, no weapons, just 3 humans flying toward an alien armada that had come to conquer them. They docked with a small transport ship in the space between the 2 fleets. The airlock opened with a hiss. On the other side stood Ambassador Lyra and 2 guards. The guards were armed, the humans were not. "Welcome," Lyra said. "I apologize for the guards," General insisted. "Understandable." Han stepped forward. "I am Admiral Han, this is Captain and Commander." "I know who you are, I have studied you." Lyra gestured toward a small room. "Please, let us talk." They sat across from each other at a metal table. The room was plain, functional, the lights were dim. "I will be direct," Lyra said. "Our overlord has ordered a final attack. In 30 minutes, every ship in our fleet will charge your position. We will fight until we are destroyed." "Why are you telling us this?" "Because I believe it is unnecessary. I have studied your species. You do not want this war. You did not seek it. We came to you. We threatened you. We attacked first." "True." "And yet you showed restraint. After the first battle, your admiral ordered his ships to stop firing. You could have destroyed us all. You chose not to." Han nodded slowly. "Killing is easy. Knowing when to stop is harder." Lyra's eyes widened. She had read those exact words in his personnel file, words he had spoken years ago. "You meant that?" "I did." "Then help me stop this. Help me find a way to end this without more death." Captain spoke. "Your overlord ordered the attack. Can you override him?" "No, but General can delay the attack, if I give him reason to." "What reason would he accept?" Lyra looked at Admiral Han. "A surrender offer, not from us to you, from you to us." The room went silent. "You want us to surrender?" asked, her voice sharp. "No, I want you to offer to let us surrender, publicly, on an open channel that our overlord will hear. Show the galaxy that you are offering peace, that you are willing to end this without destroying us. And then our overlord must respond. If he refuses your offer and attacks, he looks like a fool who chose death over peace. His own people will question him, his allies will abandon him." Lyra leaned forward. "But if he accepts, the war ends, both sides survive, the Empire keeps its territory, humanity keeps its freedom, no more death." Han considered this. It was clever. Turn the attack into a diplomatic trap. Make the overlord choose between his pride and his survival. "And if we make this offer," he said slowly, "what guarantees do we have that your empire will honor any agreement?" "None, only my word. and the knowledge that we have seen what you can do, we have no desire to face your weapons again." Han looked at, she nodded reluctantly. He looked at, she smiled. "Commander," he said, "open a channel, all frequencies. I want everyone to hear this." Activated her communicator. "Channel open, Admiral." Han stood, he straightened his uniform, then he spoke. "Attention all vessels. This is Admiral Han of the Terran Combined Fleet. I am speaking to the forces of the Empire. You came to our home with threats and weapons. You came to conquer us." He paused. "We have shown you that we cannot be conquered. Your weapons do not harm us. Our weapons have destroyed your ships. We could finish you now. We could end your empire in a single day." Another pause. "But we choose not to. We are humans. We fight when we must. We stop when we can. And we are offering you a chance to stop." He looked directly at Lyra. "Surrender now, and no more of your soldiers will die. Return to your space, and we will not pursue. Accept peace, and we will trade with you, learn from you, maybe even become friends one day." His voice hardened. "But if you attack, we will not show mercy again. If you force this war to continue, we will end it. Completely." He sat down. "The choice is yours. You have 10 minutes." The channel closed. The room was silent. Lyra let out a breath she had been holding. That was perfect. "Let us hope your overlord agrees." Somewhere far away, Overlord listened to the transmission. His advisors stood around him, waiting. He thought about his empire, his legacy, his pride. Then he thought about the videos Lyra had sent him. The nuclear bombs, the soldiers charging into fire, the humans who treated death as a game. He closed his 4 eyes. "Contact the human fleet," he said quietly. "Tell them, we accept." And just like that, the war was over.